Hi everybody, so this morning we're going to have a little bit of look at some data, and what we're thinking about today for our maths task and as we go through this week is we're thinking about sum and difference problems when we're looking at data. So a sum problem, sum is the total of something, the whole amount of something, all of something is the sum. How much is there altogether? And when we're thinking about difference, we're looking at the difference between two numbers. So it might be questions like how many more, or how many fewer, or what was the difference between, or what was the increase. So we're going to use those sum and difference methods to answer some questions. So I've got some questions here. So let's have a look. My first question, let me just check I'm putting it where you can see it. I'll put it a bit higher up. What is the sum of the people who went to the gym that day? So I'm going to look at my graph here. This graph is all about leisure centre usage over one day. This is a graph we've already looked at. So the people using the leisure centre, swimming pool, the tennis courts, the gym and the cafe. Okay, and we've got different times of day. 10 a.m. is the blue bar, 1 p.m. is the red bar, 9 p.m. is the green bar. So they collected data at different times of the day. Our question is asking us, what is the sum of the people who went to the gym that day? So I'm thinking about the gym. I'm thinking about these bars here. Now the sum is all of them. How many have we got all together? So if we look, the gym at 10 a.m. there were 35. At 1 p.m. there were 39 people in the gym, and at 9 p.m. there were 27. So I want the sum. I want to know how many there were altogether, don't I? So I could do this mentally. I'm just going to quickly write myself a little column addition. There we are. 5 add 9 is 14, add another 7 is 21, and then 3 add 2 is 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. So the sum of the people using the gym that day was 101 people. So we've answered a sum question there by working out how many there were all together. So I'll get rid of that. I shall get rid of that, and we'll have a look at another question. Let's look at this one. So let's read it carefully and think about what we're going to need from our graph, what data points we're going to be using. So how many more people were swimming at 10 a.m. than were on the tennis courts at 10 a.m.? So I'm thinking about the people in the swimming pool at 10 a.m. So I'm thinking about this column, and I'm thinking about the people on the tennis courts at this time. 10 a.m., there we go. How many more? Now, if you remember at the start, I said how many more? That's a difference question. And when we calculate difference, we're calculating the difference between two numbers. And the easiest way to calculate that, often, not always, but most of the time, especially when we're working on year 5 maths, is to take the largest amount. So the swimming pool at 10 a.m. was 43 people, and the tennis courts at 10 a.m. were 16 people. So what we do is we simply subtract the smaller amount from the larger amount, and that will tell us the difference between. 3 subtract 6, I cannot do. 13 subtract 6 is 7. 3 subtract 1 is 2. So there were 27 more people using the swimming pool at 10 a.m. than were using the tennis courts at 10 a.m. So that's a difference question. We'll look at one more. Let's look at this one. This one's a slightly different bit of vocabulary that we haven't really talked about too much. What was the increase in visits to the cafe between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m? So this time I'm concentrating on the cafe, which is this set of data here. So what was the increase in the cafe from 10 a.m. at 1 a.m? So 10 a.m. there were 7 people in the cafe, and at 1 p.m. there were 32 people in the cafe. Now I need to work out the increase, so I'm thinking about the difference between. So if you think, what's the difference between the 7 people that were there at 10 a.m. and the 32 that were there at 1 p.m? So again, I could subtract it, I can do that mentally. 32 subtract 7 is 25. So the difference, the increase, is 25. It increased by 25 people. Okay, so there's a little bit of help with our sum and difference questions today. So remember, total, sum, really means all together. How much was there all together? And then difference questions are things like how many more? So what's the difference? Or how many fewer? Or what was the increase? So have a little look at your maths task today. You can come back to this video for some help. And good luck. Happy mathsing, class 5.